going on, Jerome's beautiful Wednesday? Nailed it. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. He sees you when you're pooping. First up, Pro Football Hall of Fame pointing out that on this day, yesterday, 63 years ago, the Vikings played their first NFL game. This is when all my problems started. If the Vikings hadn't been awarded an NFL team, maybe they would have gone to the AFL. They had a deal in place. Maybe the Vikings win a couple Super Bowls as AFL champions. Don't know. Hall of Famer Fran Tarkenton came off the bench in his debut, third-round pick out of Georgia, throwing for 4 touchdowns. But also, I think there's only 14 teams back in the day, so I think that he was like the 29th overall pick. Don't quote me on that. And rushing for another, leading Minnesota to a 37-13 victory over the Chicago Bears. So Vikings have been on the Bears since 1961. It's kind of beautiful, man. So Vikings have gotten off to a good start. And part of me says, okay, it's been 2 games, 2 very impressive wins, especially the Niners game. You got to strap it up, strap it on, all the straps. Actually, maybe don't strap it on. But against the Texans, who are also 2-0 and also a very damn good football team, give me a good litmus test for the Vikings. But also, part of me is just like looking ahead, just like, oh, Saints going to come here this time. That's it. Ain't going down in NOLA until the Super Bowl. Not saying, I'm just saying. Speaking of the Texans, Danielle Hunter. So there's multiple storylines. So it's Danielle, it is Cam Akers, it is Stephon Diggs, of course, it is Case Keenum, and now Irv Smith Jr. is on the practice squad. Oh, and also Chris Boyd. Yeah, there's so many storylines. And of course, the other direction, Hottie Ward, Shaq Griffin, Grenard, and Cashman. I'm sure there's more who were former Texans at some point. It's funny, man. But Danielle Hunter, his matchup is going to be huge. Danielle, 16.5 sack season for the Vikings last year, career high, got paid in Houston, and he's the focal point of the Texans defense. And he's back at his very familiar 4-3 close side of the field left defensive end, and he's going to be facing off against Brian O'Neill. And that's just going to be like, how many times in practice have those guys gone against each other? I'm sure they know each other's moves. I'm sure that they know each other's tendencies, and it's going to be a really interesting matchup. It's going to be a really fun one to watch, man. And frankly, if it goes the Vikings' way, I think that's going to go a long way for helping the Vikings get a W on Sunday. Also, tell us what Matelis. So it's definitely growing on me. Like, it's not 96 questions yet, but our guy Jumpin' Josh Matelis, team captain, the pride of Michigan, he's really damn good. And I like the interview skills. So the question, well, it doesn't matter what the question is. Like, what's your favorite thing about your significant other? And Jerry Tillery saying her smell. Ooh, her smell. Also, Danielle's changed, man. Maybe got a haircut. I don't know, but respect. Jerry Tillery in his own right has done some very good things along the Vikings defensive line. But also, I do love the Tell Us When Tell Us, because he understands, like, the blank stare into the camera, like Jim Halper breaking the fourth wall. We do it all the time. Like, he understands comedic timing. He gets it. Something I love, man. Also, the videos produce great memes. Will the thrill come in? That's right. Also, speaking of the D-line, so Vikings had their All Access video out. Love the sideline stuff. Also, I want to know how much stuff gets bleeped out or gets edited out, right? Just on the cutting room floor. Because there's got to be some, like, because professional athletes, high testosterone, young men around other men, like, they're going to say some stuff and some things. Like, I would love for there to be in Hoboken, New Jersey, or wherever NFL Films is in Jersey, on the cutting room floor, just like a 10-hour documentary of things that were said on an NFL field via a hot mic that you can't put on television. It would be so good. I'm sure that there's some stuff that is so bad, but I just need it, man. That's right. But Vikings D-line in front 7, getting it done, man. Absolutely getting it done. Also getting done is Throwbacks. They're back. So the Bud jerseys, the throwback jerseys from last year, I love them. They're absolutely glorious. Frankly, they should be their full-time uniform. But that's an argument for another day. They will be back as part of the team's Legends Weekend festivities this Sunday against the Houston Texans. So, I mean, these are glorious. I love the stripes. I love the font. I love the gray face mask. I love everything about it. Also, they should wear it full-time with the Bud patch. Yeah. I'm not going to point out the fact that they're 0-2 when wearing them, losing the season opener last year against the Bucks as well as Monday Night Football against the Bears. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But going to move to 1-2 in these bad boys against the Texans. Also, I have no segue, but the Vikings shuffled the practice squad again, signing Marcelis Johnson to the practice squad and releasing Ricky Lee III. So, as we said, I'm sure you'll see a transaction too like this every single week. They'll rotate through on the practice squad. So instead of 16, but really 17 for the Vikings, since they have the international pathway player, tight end Sammis Reyes, is that you have an extra guy on the practice squad in the sphere. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Ricky Lee's brought back next week. He probably won't even move out of his hotel room since he just got here a couple weeks ago. But Marcelis Johnson, 2024 UDFA out of Mizzou, also played college ball at Eastern Michigan. 6'4", 307, could play guard and tackle, and was in camp with the Giants. So there you go. Watch. I would love for him to become the next Larry Allen or Randall McDaniel or Steve Hutchinson. Marcelis Johnson. There you go. Also, so this is fantastic. Dave Musitani from Pioneer Press. Matt Daniels, special teams coordinator, Coach Hat, said kicker Will Reichard issues a challenge to himself before each season. He gets his haircut before the first game and doesn't cut it again until he misses a kick. So, yes, this is what he's going to look like at the end of the season as he hits the 55-yard game winner to win the Super Bowl for the Vikings. Although it won't really be the game winner since the Vikings will be up 63-3 over the Chiefs, but those beautiful flowing locks just let your soul glow. It's going to be great, man. Like, I would love if he doesn't miss a kick for 3 years and he has to get a ponytail. That'd be really good, man. Also really good is slinging Sam Darnold. That's my quarterback. A Vikes fan page. Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold on Sunday's pivotal throw to Jalen Speedy Nail in the fourth quarter. 3rd and 8 up the seam, Speedy, and Darnold just sets it in between 3 defenders. Glorious back shoulder throw. Quote, they were showing man and bluffing zone. I worked against those guys all year in training camp and saw that a lot. I was ready, end quote. So, Hey, Lenore said that, hey, Sam Darnold threw the ball to me a lot in practice. Oh, how'd that work out? What happened? So, that is fantastic. And like we said, all of the media jackals were talking about, oh, San Francisco knows Sam Darnold, blah, blah, blah. That cuts both ways. That familiarity just really does, man. Speaking of both ways, so Wade Phillips, legendary coach, Wes Phillips' dad, as well as Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, good head coach in his own right. Also son of Bum Phillips from back in the day. That's what I miss, like old school football. I wasn't even alive, but the aforementioned NFL films absorbing it, like Bum Phillips coaching the Houston Oilers and Earl Campbell. Let's go. Come on, man. In the Astrodome, 7th wonder of the world, 8th wonder of the world, whatever. How many wonders do you need? Probably a lot. But Son of Bum tweeted out, for those who don't know, Wes Phillips is Sam Darnold's offensive coordinator. Now, there's a couple ways to look at this. Right? Number one, it could be like, hey, I'm just propping up my son. He's doing some great work in the great state of Minnesota. But also, I think part of this is people are focusing on Darnold's success and giving credit to Kevin O'Connell, the head coach and offensive play caller, and quarterbacks coach Josh McCown, who, they go way back like chiroprac. And even Grant Udinski, the assistant quarterbacks coach. But it does feel like Wes gets lost in the shuffle. So I feel like this is Pops just like letting everyone know. It's like, hey, you know who's OC? Where Sam Darnold is having success? My guy, my son. That's right. But it is tough. Like, if you're the offensive coordinator of a team where the head coach calls the offensive plays, you can sort of get lost in the soup. But that's exactly where Kevin O'Connell was with McVay and the Rams, and they won a Super Bowl, right? And he obviously still got himself a head coaching job. But I don't know. I feel like what Wade is just letting people know, hey, Wes does stuff too, which is fair. Also not fair is Florio, not a Thermos, power rankings. So modicum of respect. So he had the Vikings, and he is a self-loathing Vikings fan, jumped up from 24 all the way up to 11, right? Plus 13 spots for beating the San Francisco 49ers. Niners dropped from 3 to 6 in his rankings, which, I don't know, like, obviously it's early in the season. I got some issues. Like, I don't believe in the Saints and Clint Kubiak, but we'll see. The Packers, no. Eagles, absolutely not. Steelers, maybe. Love that defense, and Justin Fields is playing at this point. But How are the Lions still at 4? Like, the Lions barely beat the Rams, as we pointed out 17,000 times. If the Rams didn't have a bajillion injuries and lose Puka, the Lions don't win. And the Buccaneers beat the Lions in Detroit. So they should be 0-2 at home. And Jared Goff is a mess. Ben Johnson might have lost his touch. They don't have a receiver outside of Amon-Ra. The secondary is still garbage. The pass rush outside of Hutchinson is still inert. So if you've been gifted the glorious gift of sight, right? You got 2 eyeballs, you got 2 brain cells to rub together. What about the Lions says that they're one of the 4 best teams in the league right now? Can't agree. Hard cannot agree. It's rough, man. Yeah. Also, the Bears dropped 7 spots. It should have never been at 13. Anyways, Justin friggin' Jefferson out here still smashing records all over the place. Most games with 125 receiving yards in first 5 seasons. Justin Jefferson with 20, ahead of Lance Allworth, a legendary Chargers receiver. Random Mouse, perhaps you've heard of him, as well as Julio Jones, Tennessee Titans legend. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like the 125 is sort of arbitrary. We're just making up records now. What about 130? I don't know. But the fact that Jefferson did this while missing basically 8-9 games last year, pretty damn impressive. And we are watching history. And I feel like at a certain point, like greatness, you sort of become numb to it, or it sort of becomes equilibrium. Like Harrison Smith should be in the Hall of Fame, and we see it every day. And we're watching greatness. Same thing with Justin friggin' Jefferson. JJ 97-yard touchdown, catch and run, no big deal. He had 9 catches for $150 in a game and 2 touchdowns, which is coming against the Texans. No big deal. Yeah, it's gonna be a big time game against Stingley though. That's gonna be another fun matchup to watch. Not so fun to watch. So we said this at the time. As soon as Kirk Cousins left the Vikings and signed anywhere else, the narrative on him was going to change. Now we always fought the good fight with Kirk. I felt like it was barbarians at the gates. Everyone loved hating on Kirk Cousins, and we saw the positives. Right? And he did do some good things here with the Vikings. Ultimately, juice was not worth the squeeze at the price point, as well as 36, as well as coming off Achilles. It's been real. It's been fun. It has been real fun, etc. But as we said, the narrative 100% was going to change as soon as he wasn't wearing purple, and it has. So just NFL Network, ESPN, everywhere. They're just slobbering all over the Falcons. Everyone's doing the dirty bird, even though they are a Nick Sirianni moronic decision away from being 0-2. And they probably should be, right? But respect to Kurt leading the game-winning drive when Philadelphia decided not to play defense. But he got it done. Played well in the second half. But, I mean, it's just ridiculous storylines. I think the Falcons are a very real contender in the NFC when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl. Why? How? What about that Falcons defense throughout most of the game? What about, Falcons defense is actually okay. But what about the out-of-sync offense? All of a sudden, Zach Robinson is getting plaudits. What about the Steelers game? What about that? And like we said, if Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore weren't morons and they just ran the ball twice from 3rd and 3, it's finito. The Falcons are 0-2, and Kirk Cousins doesn't have that game-winning drive where the Eagles don't play defense, and that's a wrap. But it's okay. It's okay. I feel like the Falcons are much more what they showed in the Steelers game than the Eagles game, but I guess we'll see. But like we said, 100% the narrative shifted, right? All of a sudden, this 36-year-old, $100 million guaranteed, can't step into his throws or push off his right foot and have velocity on his throws. Quarterback is suddenly the second coming of Jesus Christ and Tom Brady combined. No. But it's all right. We move on. Right. Keep hope alive. That's right, baby. But that's it. Vikings news dump for this wonderful Wednesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.